Audio recording started.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Gettin Cheezy with Van and Jeezy. I'm Van.
And I'm Jeezy.
Obviously, it is Super Bowl Monday, which means today's episode is the Super Bowl episode.
Yay. Fresh out of Hotlanta, which, for those of you who are of gambling nature, there was a prop bet about who would be the first to use the term Hotlanta, Tony Romo and Jim Nantz. Luckily for all of you, I have no idea if either of them did.
As everyone knows, the Patriots ousted the Rams 13-3 in what was, without a doubt, the most boring Super Bowl to ever have taken place. The commercials were bad. The gameplay was bad. The Patriots won, which is bad. The best part about that entire production was the 5 seconds of SpongeBob we got during Maroon 5, which I will note was a tease. We all wanted them to play the whole entire song. They gave us a 5-second damn tease. But I will say that, Jeezy, everything you predicted to happen in that game was 100% correct.
You and I talked off air. I thought the Patriots were going to win, but I said it's going to be a defensive game. I want the Rams to win bad. And Gronk, they're going to throw it to him. They have to have just a basic 2-minute drill that includes all guaranteed Gronk frustration plays where Gronk will frustrate the other teams to the point of harikari. Like, it's just that Patriots team, that's what they've done for the entire postseason, so it was not a hard prediction.
There were only 2 passes Tom Brady threw that I was like, wow, that was a good pass. One was the play where Gronk got open, somehow got behind a couple of corners, and he just bloop, right over the shoulder. The other one was that pass on that touchdown drive. That was the best throw Brady had all night, and it was like, yeah, okay, I knew that was going to happen.
It was a struggle to watch. I was at a party trying to watch it, and I was probably the only one there that even gave a fuck. First off, everybody knew that the Patriots were going to win already. And second off, everyone was kind of like, why aren't the Saints in the Super Bowl? And I was kind of in the same boat. I kind of knew those same things, but I was still trying to care a little bit, like the Rams might do something.
I'm going to go on record as saying the Saints would have destroyed the Patriots.
I blame D. Ford and shitty officiating on not giving me the Kansas City Chiefs versus the New Orleans Saints, which would have been a Super Bowl of the decade.
The game we deserved. Do you know what was more interesting than the game we watched?
Did you play Sudoku?
I folded laundry. I cleaned the litter box. I did some dishes. All 3 of those things were far more exciting and entertaining than the Super Bowl.
I did some things that were more exciting during the Super Bowl while I was watching the Super Bowl. Like I ate pretzel thin chip things. Mm-hmm. I don't know whether to refer to those as pretzels or chips.
Prips.
I ate those. I talked to people that I didn't really know because I was at a party about...
Oh. You know how I know the Super Bowl is bad is because that's not fun.
As far as the Super Bowl goes, what I want to talk about is how I've been saying kind of offline for weeks now, where's Gurley in this whole thing?
Oh my, I wrote here in my notes, if you look in my notes from the game, in all capital letters with 4, count them 4 question marks, where is Gurley?
Now, I just want to say, Todd Gurley, his game stats, he was the leader, mind you, so Anderson didn't do anything more impressive. Todd Gurley the second, for those of you out there worrying about his genealogy.
Sure.
10 carries, 35 yards.
Woo! He burning, running the wheels off that man.
10 carries, 35 yards.
I'm sorry, Sean McVay. Put him in. You blow that man's knee out. He got like 8 more months to recover. You run him. Like, what do you have to lose?
I'm also saying they did use Sony Michel. I told you it was going to be Sony Michel, not James White this week, because I thought it was going to be a ground game. They didn't need the versatile back. They needed the guy to be a bruiser. And Sony Michel went out there, 18 carries, 94 yards, and a touchdown.
Do you know who single-handedly won that game for the Patriots? I know you know.
Julian Edelman?
That's exactly right. That dude went beast mode. Completely inflated Tom Brady's stat line because Tom Brady was throwing shit in the dirt. He was missing guys that were open. except for Julian Edelman. That 5 to 10 yard range, which Tom Brady is so good at, because those passes 5 to 10 yards are so difficult to hit with wide the fuck open receivers and a 6'6", 280-pound freak of nature named Rob Gronkowski. So difficult. So difficult. He's so good. He's so good. In case anybody didn't know, that was all sarcasm. Anyways, Julian Edelman ran himself open the entire game. That man had a monster game. He deserved the MVP. He played a hell of a game.
Julian Edelman is 5'10".
I'm as tall as Julian Edelman.
And honestly, I thought the Rams D played pretty well.
They did.
The Rams offense made the Patriots D look amazing. The Patriots have a decent defense. I'm not saying they're a bad defense, but they're not a team that keeps the Rams to 3 points. What happened yesterday was Jared Goff got out there. He has 38 dropbacks. He's 50%. He's got 229 yards and an interception. Jared Goff was out there playing for his life in a game where he didn't need to do that. He was pressured, but he had people open all fucking game. It was embarrassing.
He looked every bit of a third-year player.
And Tony Romo at least 2 or 3 times says, all right, I don't know if Goff can see this, but they're faking a blitz. There's 4 guys coming. And what happens? Exactly what Tony Romo said the defense is going to do. And Jared Goff didn't really have the answer at all that game. And so,
you know what's awesome about Tony Romo is that, first off, he made a joke at his own expense about this being his first Super Bowl. Second off, he couldn't see this shit when he was playing football, but now that he's announcing games, he can see all of it.
Come on.
Tony Romo gets a lot of shit, but he was a very solid quarterback. He was not clutch. He was not clutch in the fourth quarter. He was very injury prone.
If Tony Romo stayed healthy the entire time, he would be a legend. I would say that. I'd say that now.
Whoa.
Tony Romo was awesome to watch.
What you're saying is a stretch.
I'm just saying.
A legend, Tony Romo? I don't think so.
All right, fine. It's a little bit of a stretch to use the word legend, but he was awesome to watch. I liked watching Tony Romo. That's a Wisconsin boy. I'm going to watch him play football.
Tony Romo grew up about 45 minutes from our hometown. That's the only thing Burlington, Wisconsin has. Only claim to fame is Tony Romo.
Burlington, Wisconsin also has Chocolate Fest, the #1 place to overdose on chocolate till you puke. It's the only city in Wisconsin that you'll find people puking, and it's not from overconsumption of alcohol.
And how do you know that people eat chocolate till they puke? Is that personal experience?
Yes. I did not myself puke, but I know others who did.
Getting ourselves back on track a little bit here, I just wanted to say that Tony Romo, I think he's a great color man. I think he sees the plays very well. He seems to always go, hey, watch for this to happen here, and then you know what happens? That exact thing.
Tony Romo, another thing he said last night that I thought was brilliant, he says, they're running at a pace where they're not lining up until Bill Belichick doesn't have a chance to talk to his team anymore. They're not lining up until the play clock shows 15 seconds or less. And I thought that was like a very astute observation. Even in the 2-minute drill where they need to kick a field goal, score it, they're kind of slow about it, and they're kind of resigned to take those passes to the center of the field. When I saw that 2-minute drill, I said, Goff really just doesn't give a fuck anymore, or either that or he's completely in a state of depression on the field already. He had a face like someone who was genuinely in pain, like if you had come up to him and kick him straight in the crotch. Like he had that kind of facial expression, but it was
a little empty. Like someone said, hey man, your dog just died. Go play the Super Bowl, please.
I mean, yeah, that stat line though, 19 for 38, 229 yards, 1 interception. I mean, if you told me that like Deshaun Kaiser was the quarterback for the...
You'd be like, yeah, that sounds about right, yeah.
That sounds about right. Maybe I would add 1 more interception, but that would be the stat line for Deshaun Kaiser, not Jared Goff. What happened? I don't know what happened.
Moving on, I thought it was a very clean called game. I thought the refs let him play. I was paying extra close attention to the officiating, and I thought it was very good.
It was good officiating, I agree. Pat on the back for those guys. That was the best team on the field.
It's funny. It's funny and sad because it's true.
Yeah. It was just not a cool game to watch. It's just not really anything.
You know what I thought was actually very good about the game? Special teams were very good in the game on both sides of the ball. The punting was stellar. I feel like there were so many punts that were down within the 5-yard line. It was crazy.
And Hecker set the new Super Bowl record.
65 yards on a punt that had a good bounce and run. I guess it ran like 27 yards off the bounce.
Oh, wow.
So you were also correct. If the Rams can frustrate Tom Brady, they will do pretty well. And I thought Brady looked terrible.
He looked terrible.
The Rams did frustrate the hell out of him. The Rams actually had surprisingly good third down situational defense.
I mean, their defense is rock solid. There's nothing about the Rams' D. And, I mean, their D looked good the whole game. I don't feel like Tom Brady underperformed. I heard some people saying that. And there was some short passes that he did miss, which that stuff happens in every game. But this game, he was really, really frustrated. They were getting to him. I mean, only one sack. They were in his face. They were making him nervous. He was looking worried. To me, he was worried back there. He was not having a good time. He was not feeling easy about it. He was not getting comfortable back there at all.
Like I said earlier, he made 2 good passes. The rest of it I thought was trash. I will say, looking back through my notes from the game, they are very anti-Patriots notes. They're all saying, yeah, the Rams are doing this good. The Patriots are really bad at this. I'm a known Patriots hater, so...
Yeah, I know you are.
I am a known Tom Brady hater as well.
Yeah, you are.
Look at this, but look at this, though. Look at this. Again, and I keep saying this is a topic we need to have at a later date, but Tom Brady plays like shit, the Patriots still win. System quarterback.
What'd you say?
System quarterback.
Look, man, I got to look up some stats, but I
Change my mind. Tom Brady's a system quarterback. Anybody out there, comment on our Facebook page, shoot me a message. Change my mind. Tom Brady's a system quarterback.
You may be right. I can't change your mind right now. Honestly, I don't care. The most interesting thing about yesterday was that the Saints fucking boycotted it, marched down the streets, shoulder and shoulder, pissed. I mean, they had more fun and emotion there in their disappointment protest than we had in our disappointment viewing of the actual game. All these posts, like, here's one guy's got his flag up, and it's Saints fans greater than any other fans. Hashtag who dat.
Well, that's not true either, though. That's just not. When the Green Bay Packers fans exist, it's not true. But I do want to interject real quick. I am number 138,846 on the waiting list for the Green Bay Packers season tickets. Thanks, Mom and Dad, for putting me on. Never. I had to literally go to Green Bay, pick up a piece of paper, and mail it in at the age of 28.
You're just a little baby. You'll be fine.
I will never see those tickets. My great-grandchildren may. Regardless, I want to keep on this Super Bowl. Everybody says, well, if you like defense, it was a great game. But who watches the Super Bowl for awesome defense?
When I think of an impressive defensive Super Bowl, I think of, like, the Carolina Panthers versus the Denver Broncos. You remember that Super Bowl? The Broncos' D was so dominant that Cam Newton basically gave up. He gave up. He's got a fumble. You remember that recording?
Yes,
there's a fumble, and he's like, no, those Broncos are too big and mean. I'm not going in there, even though I'm like one of the biggest people on the field. And Cam Newton's got his gold shoes on. I was like, take those gold shoes off and sit your ass on the bench.
It looked like someone was like, oh, shit, there's a mouse right there. And he went, eek, and he jumped away from it.
Except it was the football. I mean, honestly, if he had been in that football gala commercial and the ball was on the ground, he should have been like, eek, because it was ridiculous, that game. Now, that was an impressive defensive game. The Broncos versus the Carolina Panthers. That defense went out there and beasted them. But this was not that. The Patriots' D was good. There
was no one dominant player on that Patriots defense. And I don't think, like you said, they're good, but they weren't shut down defense. The Rams just looked that bad.
It's a game where Jared Goff plays so bad that no one wants to talk about it that way. They rather say, oh, no, that was a shutdown D. Nobody could have withstood that. No one could have come out on top. I disagree. He was a quarterback that has played so awesome all year, again, with Todd Gurley involved, but yesterday he just couldn't do it. Sean McVay was, maybe he came in with the idea that just Bill Belichick was a better coach than him, and he just out-schemed himself.
I think a reason why Jared Goff was especially bad was that Todd Gurley was out. And when your offense becomes one-dimensional and your quarterback is having a rough outing, there's nothing you can do. There's just nothing you can do. And that's why you punt 8 times in the first 8 drives.
All right, well, let's just give some credit here to sportingnews.com. E.J. Zarrett put together 10 incredible stats from the Patriots win. I want to dive into these a little bit. I'm going to skip the first one because it doesn't flatter me in any way. The number 18, you want to guess what that stat line might be for?
I mean, I have it pulled up right here. I can give you a fake guess if you want.
Fuck. Okay, it is Rob Gronkowski becomes the all-time leader in receptions by a tight end in Super Bowl history. It was his 18th career catch in a title game. With a yes or no answer only, does Gronk come back next year with the Patriots?
Yes. You keep asking me these questions and they're too easy, right? Like last week, I think it was does Tom Brady retire after this game? Nope. Does Gronk come back with the Patriots? Yep. Because why wouldn't you? Honestly, like why wouldn't you? You've been to a bajillion damn Super Bowls in the past however many years. Why wouldn't you? Honestly, the competition in the AFC is trash, especially in the AFC East. Oh, you mean I got to beat the Dolphins, the Jets, and the Bills to win my division? Oh, that sounds difficult. None of those teams were over 500 this year. None of those teams have been over 500 for a long time. I put together the numbers, and cumulatively, the AFC East, besides the Patriots, are sub 500 for the past 10-something years. Bad. Just bad. So if you're Tom Brady, if you're Rob Gronkowski, yeah, play on the Patriots. Win championships because it's easy to do so in the AFC East. It's easy to do so where there's no parity in the AFC. None. You know who's been in the Super Bowl recently? Patriots, Steelers, and then I can't remember who the fuck else. I'm sorry, maybe the Broncos. Now, on the other side,
the Broncos had a little run there.
NFC, we've had the Rams, we've had the Seahawks, we've had the Panthers in recent memory, we've had the Packers, we've had the Falcons, we've had
the Eagles.
The Eagles, yes. It's been so much more difficult to win in the NFC and sustain success in the NFC. The Patriots, the AFC, I'm done. I can't come up with anything coherent anymore. I'm worked up.
Good. Keep it going.
I'm worked up.
All right. Here's a good stat for you. The number 3. The Rams and Patriots combined for just 3 points through the first 2 quarters. Thanks for nothing, Rams Patriots. Thanks for absolutely nothing.
Thanks for wasting my time. And that entire first half, I kept sitting there thinking, something's going to happen. Someone's going to start clicking. It's going to be great. I held off on doing my laundry in the first half because I was watching saying, oh, man, as soon as I get to do my laundry, something good's going to happen. I'm just going to keep watching. Something good's going to happen, and nothing good happened. I should have done my laundry. Folded it, and then taken and put it back in the fucking washing machine and done it again.
That would have kept you busy all night. You should have washed your hair maybe, too.
Would have been more exciting in that game.
Yeah, then your hair would have been on fleek, too.
You know what's interesting, though, was that Julian Edelman, this tells me he ended up with 10 catches for 141 yards, the 11th player ever to record 6 or more receptions in multiple Super Bowls.
It says 11. He has 11.
It says number 11. He became the 11th player. Patriots wide receiver Julian Edelman pulled in 10 catches for 141 yards. I don't know if you know how reading works, but that's what it says.
I don't know how reading works. Is that what you want to hear?
No.
Since we're reading, let me just read here.
Well, if you can't read, then how are you going to read it?
Here's a good stat. 107.
What's that?
Brady and Belichick are a combined 107 years old. That is the oldest QB coach duo in Super Bowl history. What a stat. What a line.
Cool.
You know what year it was 107 years ago?
1912. The Titanic sank in 1912.
Oh my God! Don't
look
tell
it up. No, look
okay,
it up.
Right,
look it up.
I'm looking it up right now. Okay.
Look it up.
When did the fucking...
Yeah. Type into Google, when did the fucking Titanic sink? It was 1912. It was like April of 1912 or some shit.
April 14th, 1912. I mean...
So if Bill Belichick was born and then died, and then Tom Brady was born, it would bring you to 2019, after the Titanic sank.
No. Rose on the raft pushes out Bill Belichick.
That doesn't make any sense, though. You mean like she births him?
She births him right there on the raft. And
then he lives to the ripe age of however the fuck old he is and dies.
Yep.
And then Tom Brady is born, and then now it's 2019.
And he won the Super Bowl at his current age.
Cool. I just feel like I've run my course here with the Super Bowl. I'm done. I'm over it. It was boring. I stayed up until 10:15 or whatever it was to finish watching it, and I went to bed unsatisfied, unfulfilled.
Can I hit you with one more stat before we leave the Super Bowl?
Yeah, I guess.
The number 2, which, not to be confused with shitting, is the Rams became just the second team ever to not score a touchdown in the Super Bowl. That's where you're supposed to score touchdowns. Hey, all you Rams out there, you're supposed to score touchdowns in the Super Bowl. It's a thing that you do. Teams far and wide, with the exception of the 71 Dolphins, have always done it. It's like a tradition. You go to the Super Bowl, you score touchdowns.
No, you don't. Not if you're the Rams.
Now the 2019 Rams are in hallowed history along with the 71 Dolphins to be really good for a whole season and then not score a touchdown.
So I want to get to real quick just a small touch on, I guess it could be considered a Super Bowl Gossip Girl section. Ha ha! That's as good as I can do because I'm so bored with the whole thing.
But I'm enamored with your girly sounds.
Ooh, you're making me blush over here.
Yeah, player.
I did find an article. Actually, coworker Dan found a good article because coworker Dan likes to do my research for me. 10 Super Bowl halftime acts that would have been better choice than Maroon 5 by Kevin Kaduk from Yahoo Sports. Do you think you could name a couple of them?
Well, can we go back for a second, just a comment on a comment that you made?
A comment on a comment?
Yeah. So you said this was a disappointing Super Bowl. This Super Bowl is like the dad who's supposed to have like weekend supervised privileges, access to the kids. He can't, like, he'll schedule it, It's like, oh yeah, I'm going to be there. I'm going to meet you guys at Dennys wow, Dennys comes up a lot during this podcast.
We're going to go to Dennys. We're going to get a grand slam and it's going to be great.
The supervisor, the neutral third party, is there with the kids at Dennys for 2 hours.
And the supervisor's just staring at the watch, and it just goes... And she looks at the kids, looks back at the watch, and it's going...
But Dad never shows up. There is no grand slam to be had. That was what this Super Bowl was. There's just literally... I mean, it was shitty, right? Because, Dennys is shitty. But... There's no grand slam. The Rams versus the Patriots was the Dennys of Super Bowls to begin with. Okay?
Oh.
But then it was downgraded to supervised dad Super Bowl when neither team showed up. So I was the kid in the booth.
Sitting next to a stranger lady who's moderating. Because you were at a party with strangers.
Because I was at a party with strangers. And the food never came. Now, the food at the party actually was awesome, but in this metaphor, what the fuck happened? Why can't I get a grand slam? I was promised a grand slam, okay? It's a Super Bowl. I didn't get any eggs, no hash browns, no cheeses in weird colors and shapes, none of it.
I can tell you're still frustrated. You said a while ago you were frustrated and you didn't know what to make of it, but it just came out in a little explosion right there.
It did. All right, back to 10 acts that would have been better, that we'd like to see host the Super Bowl.
As voted by some dude on Yahoo whose name I mentioned previously, but I don't want to scroll back up to find it, so he's already gotten his credit. Okay, there are, I will say, a couple of pop artists, a couple of rock artists, a country artist. Do you think you could name some of them?
Do I think I could name some of them? Yeah. So let's do it. So I think obviously the biggest name in music maybe right now is Taylor Swift.
Tay-Sway is number one on this list, yes.
So I don't think...
Keep going.
Number 2, Jay-Z. Jay-Z's never...
You have this. You have this article in front of you. What are you doing?
What?
Looking at it. You were supposed to be guessing.
Oh, I'm guessing.
Oh, you son of a bitch! You read
I thought I was supposed to get. Oh, you want me to get? You want me to guess? Okay,
it's not fun anymore.
Okay, hold on. I only saw the first few. So.
All right, you already got Jay-Z. Fine.
All right.
I know you saw the next one because it's right under Jay-Z.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Sorry. Okay, let's go back. Ask me the question again in a way that I understand it to be a question. I'm gonna answer it.
How is it? I said, can you guess them? I said, can you guess all 10 of them? You just weren't listening. The next one on the list, I know you already saw it. The official band of Van and Jeezy.
Wait, that can't be official because we have no sponsors.
Van and Jeezy's official favorite band.
Okay, there we go. That's good.
The Foo Fighters.
All right, yeah,
They played in Atlanta on Saturday night, and I recorded it, and it's on my DVR. I have not watched it yet, but I've heard good things.
Mm-hmm. You know who I'd like to see at the Super Bowl? And they had a little bit of it, obviously, this time, but I'd like to see Outkast, the whole Outkast, with Andre 3000. I want to see them roll a piano out there. I want to see some funky stuff, get down. Big Boy comes out in the Cadillac again. I want to see that, but, I mean, I think this year, again, ruined that. Down will never get Outkast at a Super Bowl because they already had Big Boy.
That's right. We're burning daylight, so I'm going to run through this list. Rihanna, Guns N' Roses would have been sweet. Metallica would have been sweet. Tim McGraw and Faith Hill, not my thing.
Yeah, but it would have been cool, though.
Sure. Pearl Jam, who is the most blah band in the entire world to me. It's dad rock.
I like Pearl Jam.
This would have been good. Elton John and Billy Joel.
Yeah.
That would have been sweet. I would have totally been stoked about that.
And Elton John's currently on his farewell tour. I mean, it would have been it would have been one of those things to,
once in a lifetime.
Once he's winding it down, get it done.
And the last band on this list is Muse, who...
also known as the Twilight Band.
Too theatrical. It would have been...
On a huge stage, I want a band with some theatrics. I mean, that's why Prince, when he did it, was so awesome. He's on the stage with a guitar, and he makes a giant silhouette of him having a huge penis. That's theatrics. That's awesome. That's why Muse is a good... I mean, they're not going to do that, of course. That's not their style, but I want some theatrics.
Do you know who is my favorite? My favorite Super Bowl halftime show in recent memory?
Who's that?
Justin Timberlake. Was so good last year.
Honestly, my favorite in recent history is the Lady Gaga performance. That's mine.
I'll fight you. Justin Timberlake is so dreamy. He's funny. He's cute. He can sing.
If you change the he to she, all those things could be said about Lady Gaga.
She's funny?
She's got a dry humor. I mean, it's not like a... But I think she's funny.
Okay.
She's smart as a whip.
Yeah, that's true. So, Super Bowl, in summary... That's literally the summary, is a big sigh.
Yeah, this was a Super Bowl that could have used a wardrobe malfunction. Honestly, if the dude's belt broke and his trousers fell down, that would have been enough for me.
He was just wearing, kissy face boxers. Fine, cool.
Yeah, that would then at least something I could laugh about.
Even if his shoe came off, his shoelaces came untied, I'd be like, that's really good. Yeah. This is better than the whole entire game.
The NFL learned for the millionth time that boring games have low viewership.
Yep.
I take that to mean that people were turning the shit off. You know what's a damn shame? We put a lot of work into this podcast, and it's a very broad topic that should interest a lot of people.
If you've made it this far, thank you.
If you've made it this far,
you get a golf clap because we're talking about very boring shit. You the real MVPs.
I mean, 2 weeks ago when I was thinking, before the NFC and AFC championship games, I was like, oh man, we're going to get to talk about the Super Bowl. It's going to be awesome.
Wrong.
This was another letdown in my life. It's just the last thing I need.
Moving on to the last topic of the evening, and I think it's going to be a pretty short one because this is a NFL podcast through the eyes of two lifelong Packers fans. Jeezy, do you think we'll ever see a Super Bowl played in Green Bay?
Last week, with wind chill, it was in the negative 40s, maybe negative 50s.
That is a secondary reason as to why the Super Bowl would never be played in Green Bay, because it is borderline inhumane to force people to play sports in that weather. Frostbite in 5 to 10 minutes, people would have perished. You just can't do it. You cannot do it. They would have had to reschedule.
That's a
something.
secondary reason for you in Green Bay. That's not. I mean,
The primary reason is that the city can't support it. The city and the surrounding areas cannot support it. There's not enough hotel space. There's not enough anything in the surrounding area for the city of Green Bay to host a Super Bowl. It will never happen because it's too fucking cold and the city can't do it. There's not enough resources.
Did you see the Fire Festival documentary on Netflix?
No, I did not.
First off, watch it. Second off, we're going to get the organizers of the Fire Festival to... Oh my God, I can't go on. So if you don't know, if you haven't seen it, they try to host a luxury retreat to an island for a huge music festival called the Fire Festival. And they basically commit all these crimes in an effort to make it happen. The guy went to prison, the main guy who was leading it, and they had bought all of these hurricane shelters, and they were advertising them as luxury suites on the beach. They were hurricane disaster shelters. If we could just get those same minds to build out the infrastructure of Green Bay, I think we could maybe have a lawsuit waiting on our hands. So with that, I guess that's our show. You've been listening to Gettin Cheezy with Van and Jeezy.
I'm Van.
And I'm Jeezy.
If you like our shit, make sure you check us out on Facebook, Cheesy Podcast. Jeezy's been working on the Twitter.
Join us in the Twitterverse.
Also, if you like our shit, be sure to share our pages so other people can hear our shit that we think is funny.
Don't forget, big news coming to the Cheesy Podcast, now available on iTunes and Stitcher. So go ahead and subscribe. Get our episodes hot and fresh and cheesy each week. You're going to love it.
Tell your friends.
Tell your friends. Tell your family.
That's all we got. Thanks for listening, everybody.